Greetings, it's Iain from RTO here. Welcome to another album ranking and welcome to the final part of the Paul McCartney story that we have been doing for the last 3 or 4 weeks. So today we're looking at Sir Paul McCartney's solo career. Yes, he's had a solo career in between doing all the other things he does and all the other albums that he has been involved with, and he's released 19, hence why it's in the marathon Wednesday. So we'll kick off. It's got quite a lot to get through today. So coming in at number 19 is his 15th solo album, released in 2012, and it's called Kisses on the Bottom. This is an album of covers of pop music and jazz, and it was his first album, studio album, since 2007. Basically these are just all old crooner songs. It's got I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter, Home when the shadows fall, It's only a paper moon, More than I can wish you, The glory of love, We three, My echo, My shadow and me, Accent to shoot 8, The positive, My valentine always, My very good friend the milkman, Bye bye blackbird, Get yourself another fall, The inchworm and Our only hearts. I've only ever listened to this album once while I was doing this, and I don't want to hear Paul McCartney doing crooner stuff. There's plenty of people have done it. Everyone jumped on the bandwagon though. Robbie Williams did one, Rod Stewart's done them, and I don't particularly like it at all. I don't like that. You've got to have a certain voice to do that, and I don't think Paul fits into that category, I'm afraid. So I'm going to give that an RTO ranking of 3 out of 10. Coming at number 18, we have an album released in 1999, his 11th, Run Devil Run. Again, this is a cover album, but it has got a couple of new tracks written by Paul. With all these albums, there's so many people on them, but on this one there, Dave Gilmour plays guitars, Ian Pace plays drums. On here we've got Balloon Jean Bop, She Said Yeah, Balloon Jean Bop's Gene Vincent number, which is pretty good. She Said Yeah, written by Sonny Bono. All Shook Up, not a very good version. Run Devil Run, now this is an original tune by Paul and I like it. It's a good rocker, good little rocker. No Other Baby, Lonesome Town, and then we got another one that he'd wrote, Try Not to Cry, my favourite of these new tracks on this album, another great little rocker. Move Mag, Carl Perkins, Brown Old Handsome Man, Chuck Berry, not too bad. What Is It, another McCartney thing, not a bad track either. And we got Croquette, I Got Stung, it's alright, Honey Hush, Shake a Hand, Party, and Fabulous. I don't mind this album, to be quite honest. It's got some pretty good rock and roll tracks on it, but it's just a covers album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 5.5. Okay, coming in at number 17, we have the 7th solo album released in 1988. Called the Russian Album, and it's an album that was released in Russia, and there's Paul McCartney's on here, Mick Green, Mike Gallagher and Chris Whitten, and then when they did some more recording, it was Paul McCartney, Nick Garvey, Henry Spinetti and Mike Gallagher. Again, it's just great little rock and roll tracks. We've got Kansas City on here, 20 Flight Rock, Lordy Miss Claudie, Bring It On Home, Lucille, Don't Get Around, That's Alright Mama, Ain't That a Shame, Cracking Up, Just Because, and Midnight Special. Again, nothing wrong with this album, it's just a bunch of covers And pretty good covers at that. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay then, coming in number 16, we have the 5th solo album. It was also a soundtrack to the film Give My Regards to Broad Street. This is basically songs redone from his catalogue. It's also got some new stuff on it. First track on here is the ballad No More Lonely Nights, which is a pretty cool song. Features Mr. Dave Gilmour on guitars. Pretty good. Then we get Good Day Sunshine, of course, from the Beatles. Then we get this corridor music. It's a bit of into talking with Paul and Ringo. Then we get a very short version of Yesterday, and it's pretty cool. Then we get Here, There and Everywhere. Really nice version of it, nothing wrong with it. Then we get Wanderlust, which is off Tug of War. Ballroom Dancing, John Paul Jones is on bass on this. Another song that was on Tug of War. Silly Love Songs and Wings. Not a Such Bad Boy, pretty good. So Bad, which was from Pipes of Peace. No Values, which is a ballad reprise of No More Lonely Nights. For No One, pretty good on there. A really good version of Eleanor Rigby, Eleanor's Dream. The Long and Long Winding Rooms, and a play out of No More Lonely Nights. Good Night Princess. This has got a bit of a 1940s feel to it with muted trumpeting, etc., and it's pretty good. I like that track. I think this is a really good soundtrack. I like this album, believe it or not. Pity the film bombed. It's an enjoyable little album, gets with like a greatest hits type of thing. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6.5. Okay then, coming in at number 15, we have the 4th album released in 1983, The Pipes of Peace. Opens up with The Pipes of Peace. Okay, this is an okay song. I like the video. It's all about that first Christmas in World War One, and it's not one of my favourite tracks on the album. But what my favourite track is the next one. Say, Say, Say. I love this. As you know, I've got the 12-inch single, and it was up on there not so long ago. It's one of my favourite songs off this. It is my favourite song off this album, I should say. Great duo between Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. It's a terrific song. Really like that. Then we get The Other Me. This is a good song. Very uplifting, very catchy tune, like most of the tunes on these solo albums are. Really good. Keep It Under. It's not too bad. It's got a mixture of orchestral and some nice guitar work on it. Pretty good. So Bad. I actually prefer the version on Give My Regards to Broad Street, actually. I think that's got a bit more to it. The Man, I like this. It's got that Santana feel to it. The guitar solo is really cool. Sweetest Little Show. Another of those catchy little tunes from Mr. McCartney. Really good. Average Person. It's about average. It's okay. I wouldn't say it's the best thing there. Hey Hey. It's okay. I don't mind that one. Tug of Peace. One of the bolder weird tracks from him, but Through Our Love is just not my cup of tea. I think this album starts off very well and gets about 3/4 of the way through, then it sort of, there's nothing really memorable, but I do like the first few tracks on this album, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 14, we have the debut album released in 1970, simply called McCartney. This of course was recorded in secret along with Linda and his home recording equipment at his house in St John's Wood. So it's Paul McCartney and Linda McCartney. The first thing is called The Lovely Linda. It's a little quirky 43-second thing, which is quite pleasant. That would be something. I like this track. It's pretty cool. Very basic, but it's a very good track. Valentine Day is a short acoustic track, considering how it was all recorded back in 1970. Pretty good. Every Night, really nice track. I love its basic form. It's just a lovely little song. Hot as Sunglasses, nice little tune. Again, they've got some Spanish guitar on this, got a nice little Spanish feel. And then we get Junk. I like this. Linda's backing vocals on here are really good. It's a really bit different, so yeah, it's just one of them tracks. You know, you can imagine them doing it in the basement. Man, We Was Lonely. Some really nice guitar work here. I don't know if it's reflecting on how this album was recorded. OU. I just like this song. You can just imagine him sitting in his basement and just sitting with the guitar and making music. It's a terrific little track. Mama Miss America, my favourite track on here. Considering the restrictions of recording, it's a great track. Got some really nice guitar pieces and a good solo. Teddy Boy again. These are all really nice tracks. Sing Along Junk, nice little instrumental with some lovely piano in it. Maybe I'm Amazed. Nice guitar work, very simple of course. Curio, Corey, a little bit different, but it shows what he was going to do in the future with Wings and all these other stuff. Okay, considering how this was recorded in secret, it's a really good album. I think people have forgotten about this one. It's a really good listen, and I just forget that how it was recorded, which is amazing for the time. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.1. Okay then, coming in number 13, we've got the 14th album, released in 2007, Memory Almost Full. Again, there's loads of people on here to mention, but the mainstays is like his live solo band of Paul Wickens, Rusty Anderson and Brian Ray and Abe LaBelle Jr. on drums. First track on here is called Dance Tonight. You just can't help liking these tracks. Doesn't matter how they're poppy, jazzy, it's quirky, it's uplifting, really good. Ever Present Past, again, very nice tune. Although in places it just seemed a bit generic, but hey ho. See You in the Sunshine, very Beatlesque this is. Nice little tune. Only Mama Knows. To me, this is done in the same way as Eleanor Rigby. Although it doesn't sound like Eleanor Rigby, it's done in that same vein with the strings and the piano, and it's quite a nice track. You Tell Me. I think the vocal on here is a little bit off kilter. I think as Paul's getting older, his voice, he can't hit them old notes, and I'm not taking one at him because I think he's a great musician, performer and an icon, and it's just that he's getting older, like we all are. Mr. Bellamy, one of the weaker tracks on the album, I think. Gratitude, again, it's a little bit of a filler track. Vintage Clothes, it's not too bad. This is one of them nice little catchy tunes. It's goes a bit weird in the middle, but I'll forgive him for that because it's Sir Paul McCartney. That Was Me. I like these little rock tracks on here. This still can make a good little rock track. One of my favourites on the album. Feet in the Clouds, acoustic song, I really like that one. The House of Wax, my favourite track on the album. It's probably Paul's best vocal on this album, and I love the orchestral arrangement on that one. The End of the End, more piano and orchestral, another good tune. Nod Your Head. He actually sounds very flat on this, and it doesn't sound very good. As with most of Paul McCartney solo stuff, there's some really good tracks on there, and there's some fillers on this one. But it's an enjoyable album. It's not a bad album to say, oh, I don't want to listen to that again, apart from them cover albums. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. Time for a drink. As you notice, we've got a Tassimo coffee today. Okay, then coming in at number 12, we've got the 13th album, released in 2005, Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. First track on this one is Feel Fine. Again, it's one of them nice tracks with a heavy sort of piano sound on it. Really good track. Great way to start the album. How Kind of You. Again, his voice is a little bit off here. Jenny Wren. He likes writing songs about birds, and we've had Blackbird and Bluebird, and now we've got Jenny Wren, and it's in that sort of vein of Blackbird guitar. Nice little pleasant song. At the Mercy. I just love it when Paul sits down at a piano, starts playing, and then you get an orchestral arrangement put on the top of it, and I like that. It's a really good song. Friends to Go. Nice tune, but again, vocal from Paul is a little bit off. Then we get English Tea. I love this, and it reminds me of For No One. It's done in that sort of style. It's one of my favourite tracks on this album. I love it to bits. Too Much Rain, a great track, could have come straight off a Wings album. One of them, in the mid 70s. It's a great track. Could have sat on Band on the Run very easily, that track. A Certain Softness. Again, his voice has gone a little bit off kilter. Ride into Vanity Fair. It's one of the tracks on here I really can't get on with. I've struggled with that one. Promise to You Girl. It's a little bit filler track, I'm afraid. Never Happened Before. Again, I just love the string arrangements that he does. And then the last track on here is Anyway. Pleasant song. It's got lots of little intricate bits in it. Again, this album I think's got a very strong start, and then it sort of fizzles out. There's quite a lot of tracks on this, but the tracks I do like are really good. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.6. Okay, then coming in at number 11, we go to the 6th album, released in 1986, 25th of August. That's my brother's birthday. And Press to Play. Again, it's got lots of people on this playing. The first track on here is Stranglehold. Love this one. It's semi-acoustic sounding track. Got some good saxophone in it. Pretty good track. Good Times, Come It, Feel the Sun. I can't get into that track. Never have. Struggle with that one. Talk More Talk. Unusual arrangement, but it actually works. Pretty good. Footprints. I like this. It's a very ambient sounding track. Some nice guitar touches on that. Really enjoy that one. Only Love Remains. It's a bit wishy-washy. Yeah, get the bucket out. Time to get the bucket out on that one, I'm afraid. Press. Lots of 80s production on this. Plastic drums, plastic sounds. Although this one was quite popular. Not with me though. Pretty Little Head, very 80s again, that generic 80s productions on it. Move Over Busker, okay, it's that 80s sound, but it's got some great saxophone on it, which actually adds to it. Angry, my favourite track. It's got a cool bass line, it's got a nice heavy riff in it, even though the 80s production is all over this, it doesn't sound too bad. And the last track, Over Absurd, good track, very Beatlesque, which is pretty cool. A lot of that 80s production on it, but it was an album of its time, of course. It has got some good tracks on it though. I think that if they redone this, got rid of the 80s production, it'd be a pretty damn good album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.8. Okay, top 10. So coming in at number 10, we have the third solo album. It's amazing, you know, it's 1982 and he's only released 3 solo albums by this. But he has been a busy chap in between though, of course. And this is Tug of War. This is a really good album. Opens up with the title track, Tug of War. Like this song, one of my favourites. Slowy sort of track, nice guitar work on this. Fantastic track. Then we get my favourite track on the album, Take It Away. I love that chorus, such a hook. It's a really uplifting track, very popular in its day. Somebody Who Cares, nice little pleasant track. Okay, then we get a duet with Stevie Wonder. What's That You're Doing? I like this. Really good track. It's a funky rocker. It's got a little bit of that, really got that rock of Paul, the funkiness of Stevie Wonder combining to make a fantastic track. Here Today, nice track. I love the acoustic guitars on this, very good. Ballroom Dancing, classic song from Paul McCartney, and I think this is the best version. The one on Give My Regards is not as good as this, but it's a fantastic song. The Pound Is Sinking, one of them tracks that could have appeared on one of any of 3 Beatles albums, starting with Revolver, Sgt. Pepper's and the White Album. It could have been on any of them. It's a great track. Then we get Wanderlust, great track, I like that song. Then he does a duo with Carl Perkins. This is great. Nice bit of country rock and roll sort of thing. Nice guitar from here, obviously from Carl. Nice violin on it. Be What You See. It's just a little link track. Bit pointless, I think. Dress Me Up As a Robber. It's okay, bit quirky. And then we get Ebony and Ivory. I hate this song. I hate it with vengeance. I think it's just cheesy. It's, I don't know, it's just one of them tracks that makes my teeth go, oh. I actually prefer that other one they did on here, the What's That You Doing. I should have released that as a single. That's just a bit plastic. Pretty strong album though, apart from that track. And I do like this album, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 9 then, we go to 1989 now, the 8th studio album, Flowers in the Dirt. First track on this one, My Brave Face. Catchy tune again. Gets your feet going. I love the arrangement on that, fantastic. Rough Ride. Paul McCartney started to try and do a bit of disco or electronic. Awful. That's one word to describe it. Then we get another song that he does with Elvis Costello. says with Elvis Costello, but it's written by McCartney and McManus. Obviously, that is Elvis's real name, Declan McManus. Great track though, a really catchy tune. Nice one he does with him. Distractions. Nice tune, nice song. I just don't like the arrangement. Too croony. We Got Married. Love the guitar work in this one. Really good. Put It There. Fab song. The acoustic is great on this. Mixes well with all the strings as well. Figure of Eight. This is my favourite track on the album. It's very Tom Petty. It's one of them tracks that Jeff Lynne could have been working on. I really like that track. It's got that sound to it. This one, again, one of them quirky tunes. Don't Be Careless, Love, another song co-wrote by Declan McManus. He just can't hit the high notes on that one, but it's a good song. The Day Is Done, great little track. It's a nice slow song, but it's really good. How Many People? Not one of my favourite tracks on that, I'm afraid. Motor of Love. This is a great song, except for some reason they have to have that horrible 80s keyboard track. Take away that keyboard and it would be a really good track. Again, this is a really good album. And even some of the weaker tracks are still listenable on this album. It's an album that you can put on and enjoy from start to finish. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay then, we got to number 8 now. 16th album released in 2013, and it's simply called New. First track on here is Save Us. Nice little rocker. In fact, it's a damn good track. Like that one a lot. Alligator. Again, a nice little quirky song. Really good melody. Hooks you into the track. Nice guitar work on that. On My Way to Work. One of these semi-acoustic-y sound tracks. Really good. I like that one. Queenie Eye. Another nice little rock track. Good stuff. Solid. Early Days. This is one of the weaker songs on the album, but I like the harmonies. It really is good. New, quirky and pleasant. Really good. Appreciate. I think there's drum machines on this, but it sort of works, but it's not the best track on there. Everybody Out There. A great track. You could have imagined this being a Beatles track if they would have been together. This is the sort of thing I think they'd be doing. It's a really good track. Hosanna, probably one of the weaker tracks again. It just lacks something. I can bet. The first thing you think when you hear this opening up, it's straight off Mr. Blue Sky, but it's not. Looking at her, the guitar is brilliant at the start, and then this track just fizzles out into nothing. Then we get Road. Love this. My favourite track on the album. It's dramatic. It's got nice arrangements. It's a little bit proggy in places. Then you get some silence, and then you just get this piano coming in at the end as a hidden track called Scared. Really strong album. From 2013, it just shows that he can still make quality albums. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.6. Okay then, coming in at number 7, we have the 12th album from 2001, Driving Rain. First track on this one, Lonely Road. I love that bass at the beginning of this. And then all the guitars come in. It's a strong track to open the album. From a Lover to a Friend. This is a quite nice tune. I like the piano arrangement on this. It's pretty good. She's Giving Up Talking. A nice little rocker. I love the effects that Paul uses on this. Really adds to this. It sort of helps him out, I think, in places. It's just a really good track. Driving Rain, the title track, is a pleasant enough track, but I wouldn't say it's one of my favourites. But I do like the chunky guitar that runs through this one. I Do is one of them semi-acoustic tracks that he does. I could listen to these sort of tracks all day. Little bit of strings coming, just give it an extra layer. Really nice. Tiny Bubble, it's a solid track. There's nothing wrong with this one. Very pleasant to your ear holes. Magic, solid track again. Very pleasant. Your Way. Again, I enjoyed this track. It's that quirkiness from Paul McCartney. Spin on an Axis. The guitar effects are like this, but I don't like Paul's vocal. Doesn't sound right. About You, another quirky little track. Heather. Now, I don't know if this is about Heather Mills. I'm not quite sure about this, but it's just called Heather. It's a good little tune, but you just don't know if he's taking the mickey out of her or whatever. But yeah, I don't want to go too much into that because I've got my thoughts on her. Okay, next track, Back in the Sunshine. It's alright, bit of a filler on this one. Your Loving Flame, pretty cool track, got a great guitar solo. Riding into Jaipur. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh me. Yes, the dreaded Indian sounding records. Oh no. I'm not taking. I just don't like it. Although it's not for my culture, and it can be annoying. And when you try and mix it with rock music, pop music, it doesn't work. But then we get Rinse the Raindrops. This is probably one of the best things he's ever done as a solo artist. It's a long track, it's 10 minutes. It's got some great movements to it. It's picking bits from his career. You've got some very Beatles sounding pieces, some bits of Wings in there. It's a pretty cool track. I love it to bits. Then we get Freedom. Very Tom Petty sounding again. But get rid of the cheesy clapping. We don't need cheesy clapping on it. Great track, this album this is. Love this album to bits. It's got some good rockers on it. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8.7. Okay, coming in number 6. We have his second solo album. He released in 1980. And it's called just simply McCartney II. This was a significant departure from Paul McCartney though, because his experimentation. Because you come 1980, the music's changing, and there's electronica in it, and it didn't go down too well. Although now it's become quite a cult favourite. Opens up with Coming Up. I love this track. I love the video to it. He's got Paul dressed as a Beatle, and I just think it's very, very good, and I like that track a lot. Temporary Secretary, for all the weirdness and the keyboard that's in it, I think it's really good. It's got a bit of a post-punk feel to it as well. Well, it's quite good. On the Way, love the bass in this. Lovely guitar work, fantastic. Waterfalls. This is one of them piano songs and strings from McCartney. It's a really strong track, one of my favourites on the album. Nobody Knows, really good rock track, excellent stuff. Front Parlour. I don't know what's going on there. It's just weird. Couldn't get into it. Summer's Day. This is a very different sort of track. You've got Linda doing the backing vocals as ever. This is quite eerie and dark for from Paul McCartney, but it's pretty good. Frozen Jap. Don't know what this is. It's a little bit dated now, but time, as I say, music of the time. Boogie music. It's a bit of boogie woogie. It's weird and just says what it does on the tin. Dark Room. This is very early ultravoxing sound. I didn't expect this, and it's not particularly good. One of These Days, really nice song, lovely vocal from Paul. As I said, this is quite experimental in places. But I just like it for that reason. Okay, there's a couple of rather dodgy tracks on this, but on the whole, for 1980, it's a pretty good album, and I admire Paul for trying to do something different. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.8. Okay then, coming in at number 5, we go to the 17th album, released in 2018, Egypt Station. First track is just a sound effect opening called Opening Station, which goes nicely into a track called I Don't Know. Love Paul singing on this. I think he's rested his voice and he sounds pretty good on this. Good track. Come On To Me. Great rock at the start of this. The guitar sounds fantastic. Then we get Happy With You. I like these acoustic-y sounding Paul McCartney tracks. You get them all through his career, starting with the Beatles and all the way through. Lovely track. Who Cares? Nice little rocker again, great track. Got some nice riffs in that. For You, another of them really quirky tracks. Nice arrangement. Confidant, I just like it because it's acoustic. It's just really good. People Want Peace, one of the weaker tracks. It doesn't stand out as a track on this album. Hand in Hand, again, they've got some nice nice piano work from Paul. His voice is a little off kilter in places, but it doesn't spoil the track. Dominoes is another great track. I love the bass line in this, it's pretty cool, and this arrangement is excellent. Back in Brazil, now you can keep that one, Paul. Do It Now, bit of a filler, nothing memorable about that track. Caesar Rock, It's Okay. Despite Repeated Warnings, a really good track. Guitar work on this is fantastic. Station 2 is just loads of ambient keyboard sounds. Hunt You Down, Naked, C-Link. This is great. Heavy. It's properly sort of that heavy Wings tracks like Hi Hi Hi, Junior's Farm. Best track on the album. This is a very, very long album, 16 tracks. There's a lot of filler on this, but the tracks that are good are superb. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. Coming in at number 4 then, this is an album that's been featured on the channel before, and Paul Jeff Lynne's producing. We're talking about Flaming Pie, of course, 1997, the 10th album. You've got Linda McCartney, James McCartney's on this, Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney, Jeff Lynne and George Martin. I won't go into too much here because we've spoke about this, and you know I like this album. The song we were singing, really solid track. Well Tonight, very pleasant. If You Wanna, tell Jeff Lynne, as we've said before, is working on this, pretty good stuff. Some Dies, it's this little track that he did with Steve Miller, really good track. Young Boys is very Beatles, well produced, and you know that Jeff loves the Beatles. Calcio Skies, I love this. It's a great track. The production on it is just out the drawer, of course. Great stuff from Jeff and Paul. Flaming Pie. Great track. But as I said before, must have been a buzz for Jeff to work with Paul McCartney. Working with your heroes must be pretty cool. It's a great track. It's my favourite off the album. Heaven on a Sunday. Nice little track. This has got a great solo on it. Used to Be Bad, and the Steve Miller thing. Great track, really good. Souvenir. Love this song. It's a bluesy sort of track. Little Willow. You can tell it's Jeff Lynne all over. It's a great track. Really Love You, written by McCartney and Richard Starkey. Great drumming from Ringo on this. It's a pretty good little rocker. Beautiful Tonight, great song. This has just got everything about Beatles on it. It's in the All You Need Is Love sort of vein. Really good track. And then we get Great Day, which is a nice little acoustic number. I really like this album. I'm biased, of course, because you've got Jeff Lynne on it, George Martin's involved. Very well produced album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.3. Okay then, coming in at number 3, we get to the 9th album. Released in 1993, Off the Ground. Loads of people on this, of course. Too many to mention. First track is the title track, Off the Ground. Great rocker. Really strong riffs. One of the heavier tracks that Paul has done. Looking for Changes. Some nice guitar riffs in this one. Great little rock track. Hope of Deliverance. It's got that Caribbean feel to it without being too Caribbean. And I like the acoustic guitar on that. Mistress and Maid, very Beatles to me, but who cares, we love the Beatles. I Owe It All to You, the mixture of acoustic and electric guitars on this really works well. It's like putting things in a blender and they all come out together. Really good. Weird expression to use, but it's right, that's how good it is. Put them in and it makes a really good track. Biker Like an Icon. It's okay. It's some great guitar work. Reminds me a little bit of Chris Rea. Well, I like Chris Rea, so that's all right then. Peace in the Neighbourhood. It's okay. Golden Earth. Like this track. The arrangement is really good. The Lovers That Were Never Were. Another co-wrote with Declan McManus. Pretty good. Get Out of My Way. It's a rock and roll track. Favourite one on the album. Why Dark Open Sea, one of these gentle songs. Great singing on here from Paul. One of his best vocal performances on this album. Come On People, and then it gets 6 seconds of silence, and then we get this Cosmically Conscious as a hidden track. I love this. It's just great piano work from Paul. Just a great song. I love this album. It's got some nice rock on it, some nice slow tracks, very well mixed together, and I'll give this an RTO ranking of 9.3. Okay then, coming at number 2, this is his 18th solo album. It's his most current album, released in 2020, and it's simply called McCartney III. First track is called Long-Tailed Winter Bird. There's a theme running through these albums about birds, isn't there? I love this record. This song, sorry. I love the arrangements, some nice vocal effects, the guitar work is great. Fantastic track. Find My Way, another interesting arrangement, but it's really good. Paul sounds really good on this. His voice is a lot stronger now than it was 10 years ago, I think. Really good track. Pretty Boys, another really catchy tune, and it's just great to see him still making great songs and albums. Women and Wives, it's probably one of the weaker tracks on here. It's one that I'm not keen on. Lavatory Lil. This is a bit of that nonsense, you know, like Rocky Raccoon and all that sort of thing. It's just a little bit of nonsense. It's a great little tune though. Deep, deep feeling. Like a long track, but it's got some really nice sounds on this. Nice arrangement. I really like how he's doing these longer tracks. Really enjoyed that track. Then we get Slide In, my favourite on this. It's just good old fashioned rock and roll, and I love it. The Kiss of Venus. It's a pleasant enough track. This is one of the tracks where he can't sometimes hit them high notes, but you know, it's 2020 and he's not as young as he was, so I'll let him off. Seize the Day. Nice catchy medley on this. Love it. Melody, sorry. Deep Down. Love the keyboards in this. Really different. It's deep, it's rich, but not overpowering. And then we get another track, Winterbird, When the Winter Comes. He likes bird songs, doesn't he? It's nice. It's very blackbirdy. You know, blackbird in the day. It's like that. This is a great album. It's probably Paul's best album in many, many years. There's not a bad track on this album at all. And it's an album I play quite a lot. It was one of my favourite albums from 2020. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.4. Okay, my number one. Well, technically it isn't a Paul McCartney solo album. It's a Paul and Linda McCartney album. But I had to include it. Released in 1971 ago, of course, and it's the brilliant, brilliant Ram. It couldn't be left off. It's just a fabulous album. On here we got Paul McCartney, Linda McCartney, David Spinoza, Hugh McCracken, Danny Sewell, Heather McCartney on backing vocals, and Marvin Stamm and the New York Philharmonic Orchestra on a certain track. Opens up with Too Many People. I love this track. Just a nice track, rock track. Great guitar work on this, and I love that track. One of my favourite tracks by Paul McCartney. Three Legs. Again, we got that a mixture of acoustic and rock guitar. Pretty damn good track. Ram On. What makes this track good? The ukulele and the lovely harmonies between Paul and Linda. It's just brilliant. Dear Boy. I love this track again. It sort of reminds me of Dear Prudence in places. It's really psychedelic as well. It's pretty awesome, and I think this is a track that would have appeared on the next Beatles album if the Beatles hadn't split up, I think. Then we get the most brilliant track. It still reminds one of my favourite tracks of all time by Paul McCartney. It's the brilliant Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey. I love this. It's just one of my tracks I like. People think this is Wings. It's not. It's Paul McCartney and Linda McCartney. I love you get that very nice we're so sorry Uncle Albert, and then you get we're so sorry Uncle Albert, but we haven't done a bloody thing. I love all that. And then how quickly it changes into the quirky Admiral Halsey. It's just brilliant. I just love it. Amazing song. Then we have Smile Away. This is just a bit of boogie shuffle. It's very quo boogie, and I like that. Really, that old-fashioned quo boogie shuffle stuff, really good. In the Heart of the Country, love this song again. You'll get lots of this in the wing when he forms wings. Brilliant track. Monkberry Moon Delight, quirky tracks. Nice vocal from Paul. The backing vocals, of course, is his daughter. One of his daughters. It just sounds fantastic. I really like that one. Eat at Home. I love this track. I think it's probably one of the best songs that Linda ever sang on. It's quirky little rock. I love it. Long Haired Lady. Another good track. Linda's actually singing on this more, and she sounds really good on this. Then we get Ram on reprise. A little bit more of Ram. Nothing wrong with that. And then we have the last track, another fantastic track, The Back Seat of My Car. I just love the piano on this. It's a sort of song that you can just sit back and chill out to. Superb song. As I said, this is a superb album. Even after all these years, I listened to it not so long ago, and I still love it as much as I did when I first heard it. Which I did hear it. Apparently, I would have heard it when it came out, even though I was only 3 or 4 years old. Because it's a album that was in our house, because it's got that distinctive cover. So it's technically a Linda and Paul McCartney, but it's still part of the solo stuff, isn't it? It's just a great album that I play a lot and have a lot of memories with this one. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.5. Well, that's wrapped up Sir Paul McCartney and his career. Or is it? There may be something next week. Well, there is something next week. And I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to watch the live stream tomorrow to find out. Or can watch the video of it. So that's all for today. This one's a long one. It takes a little while to sort out. I'll be back tomorrow though with the penultimate Then and Now. And tomorrow we're looking at a progressive band that started off in death metal. It's got quite a history to this band, and it is Opeth. And album artwork tomorrow is a very short one, but it's worth looking because they did make some nice covers, and it's American rock band Boston. And also 8 PM tomorrow evening, British summertime, we'll be back with another live stream which is getting really popular. We have so much fun. We've got myself on the text answering all your queries and music based questions, or anything that you ask him he manages to find. That's Mastermind Dave. Also, the star of the show, he's fast asleep at the moment, but I'm sure he won't be tomorrow night, and it's called Rocky the Dachshund. He'll be around causing havoc as ever. So have a great day everyone, and I will see you all tomorrow.